everybody, how are you? Welcome to this broadcast. I'm yours sincerely, Apostle Costas Friday, and this is the Truth and Life series, video version, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on various platforms on social media. Alright, if you're watching us on YouTube, I would like you not just to watch, but also to hit the subscribe button and smash the like button so you can watch our next video. Okay, right now, if you are watching this video right now, you can just scroll down a little bit and you'll see one red button. And written on that red button is subscribe. So simply hit the subscribe button so you can watch more great videos like this. Today I want to talk about 20 things that destroys the good destiny of great nations, great countries. Okay, great countries and great nations. There are 20 things that destroys the destiny of a country and a nation. A nation is a combination of two or more communities, which are combinations of two or more families. Okay, families, individuals have families, and families combine with families to form communities. Okay, a community is a composition of two or more families. When two or more families combine together, you have a community. Now, when two or more communities combine together and you have several of these combinations mixed together over a large geographical calibration, what you're going to have is a country, and it's also known as a nation. All right. Now, just as God blesses individuals, that is also how God blesses nations. When God first showed an example of how his blessings upon individuals can become blessings upon nations, he started with what? Abraham. Alright? This is the second time I've explained it in a video about nation development. He started with what? Abraham. Then the blessings spread to Isaac. But the manifestation of the national blessings came in the lineage and in the time of Jacob. Okay, it came in the time of Jacob. Now, what are the things that destroy the good destiny of great nations? God has a good plan for every individual. It's written in Jeremiah 29 verse 11. God has a good plan for every individual. All right. When God manifests this good plan, it spreads from the individual to the family, and then it spreads from the family to the community, and then it spreads from the community to the nation. So your worship and your reverence of God as an individual is not just going to impact this generation positively, it's going to impact the next generation positively, because you as an individual, you are a national component. You are a source of national development. You are a national component. In fact, there is a country inside you. There is a nation inside you. Right? So what are the 20 things that destroys the good destiny of a great nation? For example, the country you stay in. 1, absence of faith in God or godliness. Right? Taking it one by one. Absence of faith in God or godliness. When the people do not have faith in God, when there is no sign of true godliness, true faith. The Bible says that faith is the substance of what things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When a person does not have faith in God, such a person will rely on the things they can see to believe in God. Right? When there is no absolute faith in God amongst a large quantity of people, a large population of people, the Bible says that if I can find 10 righteous people in Sodom and Gomorrah, I will not destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Let's imagine Noah's Ark. Now, let's imagine that 1,000 people entered into the Ark of Noah. Those 1,000 people that entered into the Ark of Noah, they wouldn't have died in the flood. You understand? The Bible records that only Noah and his family and some animals across the world, and very few people who were closely related to Noah, just few other people survived the flood. You understand? Now let's say, had it been that 100,000 people listening to Noah and they entered the ark with him, they would have survived the flood. It took Noah 100 years to build that ark. I hope you are aware. So absence of faith in God. Number two, rejection of the truth. When you reject the truth, when a country, when a nation rejects the truth, there are people who rise up and God puts the truth in their mouth, see, there is no time or era that God doesn't raise up somebody with the truth. God always puts the truth in the mouth of at least one person or few people. There will be at least few people who will say, everybody will listen, oh, this is the truth, oh, this is the truth, oh. God puts it in the mouth of everybody. Sorry, not everybody. At least few people will see the truth and say, look, this is the truth, or this is what is really happening. This thing you see, you may be calling it this, but it's actually terrorism. This thing you see, you may be calling it that, but it's actually something else. You understand? You are doing the right thing the wrong way. Rejection of the truth. When you reject the truth, you accept bondage. When you reject the truth, you accept slavery. When you reject the truth, you accept oppression. When you reject the truth, you accept imprisonment. When you reject the truth, you accept mental slavery. John chapter 8 verse 32, which is the motto of the Truth and Life series, which tells you the inspiration of our broadcast, is to set you free. It says that you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Okay? That's John chapter 8 verse 32. So when you reject the truth, what happens? You accept the opposite of freedom. A rejection of the truth is an acceptance of the opposite of freedom. Alright, number 3. Greed and interest only in money and financial gains. We are looking at 20 things that destroys the destiny of a great nation. For example, the country you live in. Greed and interest only in money or financial gains. Alright, this motivational speaker, or this person that is talking to us, how much is his financial net worth? I mean, how much does he have in the bank account? Do you know that Dr. Nelson Mandela of South Africa, when he died, no one talked about his net worth. They only talked about the legacy he left behind. No one was talking about how much he had. I mean, praise the Lord. These days, people are so much into financial net worth. Financial net worth. What's the financial net worth of this preacher? What's the financial net worth of that preacher? What does finance have to do with your freedom? You can have money and yet you'll be in bondage. You can have money and yet you'll be oppressed, depressed, repressed. You can have money and yet you'll be what? Oppressed, depressed, and repressed. There are people I see, they have a lot of money, yet they feel miserable. They feel oppressed, they feel depressed, they feel repressed with all the money they have. So, greed and interest only in money and financial gains destroys the destiny of great nations. Maybe you just elect a leader because of how much they throw around during their political campaigns. You don't elect a person based on their character. We have people like Patriotism, Professor Patriotism. We have people like Homogeneous. We have people like we all know about Goodluck Jonathan. Okay, I'm talking about Nigeria now. We have people like that in this country, and yet some of them don't have interest in leadership. Like one particular person said, he has no interest in leadership because of the way the country is. Because people are more interested in financial gains. Okay, look at your neighborhood, look at your community, look at your recent political rallies, and think a lot more about what I'm saying. Greed and interest only in money or financial gains. This particular politician, if he enter, we no go chop. If he enter, we no go chop. Oh, make we no vote him. Even if he is the person that God has ordained to be the Messiah that will set you people free from bondage. Even if he's the person that God has anointed, this person is the Moses that will set the people free. Because of money, because of financial gains. We want person we go share money for us. We want person we go loot treasury, share for the boys, share for the girls. Otherwise, enter. My brother, my sister, it destroys the destiny of a great nation. Every nation has a good destiny. Number 4, self-hate amidst homogeneous citizen. This is common in the southeast and to some little extent in the southwest, but it's more pronounced in the southeast. I notice this a lot in the southeast. Self-hate amidst homogeneous citizens. Self-hate. What is self-hate? Self-hate is not when you look at the mirror and hate yourself. Maybe There is what we call individual self-hate. Like now, if you look at the mirror and you see the person and say, is this me? Do you understand? And you begin to hate yourself. Oh God, I'm not saying you should do this. I'm just giving an example. Oh God, I'm so terrible. Oh yuck. Oh, who will like me like this? Oh yuck. Come on. No, you are wonderfully and fearfully made. But self-hate, that is an individual self-hate. But self-hate also includes hatred for someone who is similar to you. Maybe a member of your family, a member of your community. You hate the person. Maybe like Jesus Christ was from Nazareth, and Jesus was unable to do miracles in Nazareth because people were like, who does this? Is this not the son of the carpenter? When did you become a prophet and Messiah that wants to come and minister to us? I beg, Ben Usan Jare. This happened to Jesus. This happened to Jesus. Okay, look at the story of Moses. Okay, Moses is another example. When Moses saw an Egyptian beating up an Israelite, Moses became angry because he was like, this is my own brother. You are beating up my brother. And in his anger, he struck the Egyptian. And the Egyptian died. And he had to run away. He buried the Egyptian in the sand. Then one day, his two brothers were fighting. Two Israelites were fighting. And then he went to his own. These ones are my own brothers. And he said, why are they fight now? Why are you people fighting? Two of you are brothers and two of you are my brothers. You're not supposed to be fighting each other. They were actually fighting. And then one of them turned to him and said, oh, do you want to kill me like you killed that Egyptian? Praise the Lord. And Moses did not run away when he noticed, when he did it to someone who was different from him. Moses ran away when he noticed hate amongst his own brothers, when he noticed self-hate. You understand? It took the grace of God for Moses to deliver the children of Israel from Egypt. After the incident of the Israelites asking Moses, do you want to kill me like you killed the other Egyptian? Moses ran away for how many years? The destiny of the children of Israel to get out of Egypt was delayed for how many years? Ask yourself that question. The destiny of the children of Israel getting out of Egypt was delayed for several years because of self-hate. Because an Israelite turned to Moses and asked Moses, do you want to what? Do you understand? It was similar. It was just like asking Moses, who do you think you are? Something like that. There are different ways self-hate shows its ugly face. You understand? What is the first reason why the Israelites found themselves in Egypt? Because of the hatred of the brothers of Joseph. That's why the Israelites ended up in Egypt in the first place. So, self-hate destroys the destiny of a nation. Had it been the brothers of Joseph did not hate Joseph so much to the extent that they sold him to Egypt, the whole nation of Israel would have not ended up in Egypt. So, self-hate amongst homogeneous citizens, whether you are a Hausa person that hates your fellow Hausa brothers, or a Yoruba person that hates your fellow Yoruba brother, or an Igbo man that hates your fellow Igbo man, or an American that hates your fellow American, or a black man that hates your fellow black man, or a Chinese that hates your fellow Chinese, self-hate destroys the destiny of great nations. Number 5, bad leadership selection. Alright? You select leaders based on the wrong selection parameter. Okay, let us select someone that can give us money when we want it. Someone that can throw fish at us. It's called the throw fish politician. Let us select someone that can throw fish whenever we want fish. You don't want to select someone that would give you the opportunity to catch fish. You don't want to select someone that will throw fish at you. That's bad leadership selection. So at the end of the day, you only get one fish. You don't get a river of fish. You don't even get the opportunity to catch fish for yourself and sell fish for yourself. You understand? So, bad leadership selection. Number 6, massive brain drain. What is massive brain drain? Inability for a large population of people to make use of their common sense. Common sense. This is one of the things that offends a lot of people when I say it, but it's still the truth. It is the truth, and I'll say it. Inability of a lot of people to use their common sense. You have seen something is like this. So this person said, made this kind of statement. That one has made this kind of statement, and your common sense does not tell you that something is not right somewhere. Something is not right somewhere. If it is on a massive level, then there is a problem with the country. It can destroy the country of the nation. If you have millions of people who can discern that something is not right at the same time, such kind of a nation is not doomed for failure. But if it's the opposite, my brother, my sister, there is nothing that the righteous man can do. Alright? Massive immorality. Write it down. Massive immorality. That's number 7. 20 things that can destroy the destiny of a good nation. Massive immorality. I want you to share this video across social media to your fellow countrymen and countrywomen and let them watch this. And let them know that these are the 20 things that can destroy a country. Massive immorality. When the children of Israel were worshipping the golden calf, they were actually stripping themselves naked. They were actually practicing immorality right there in front of the golden calf. Understand? When the children of Israel were worshipping Baal, in the temple of Baal, they were actually practicing immorality. They were actually doing a lot of things. What is immorality? Immorality is not only sexual in nature. Immorality is the perversion of justice. Doing wrong things. When I know that a particular action is the right thing and I don't do it, I am what? Immoral. You understand? That is what it means. When you know a particular action is the right thing to do and you don't do it as an individual, as a nation, you're practicing immorality. Number 8, celebrity worship. You like a particular celebrity, whether it's a politician, whether it's a sportsman, whether it's a sportswoman, whether it's a musician, whether it's a preacher of the gospel or a particular leader of some sort in the society. You love this person. You now make the person a demigod and you begin to worship the person. That's idolatry. Such kind of people, some of them, like I said in one of my videos, which you can see in some of our video suggestions. Don't be brainwashed by hype. Just check video suggestions. Don't be brainwashed by hype and see what I said about celebrities. Some celebrities have dark secrets and dark associations that can actually destroy the destinies of lots of people. There are some celebrities that they got their power from the devil. So you worshiping them, you actually, in fact, even if it's a preacher of the gospel, the moment you turn from God and start worshiping that preacher, you have actually started committing idolatry. Alright, number 9. Rejection of innovation. When someone brings up a better idea, okay, this is a better idea, let's do things like this, let's do things like this, and we will improve as a country, as a nation. People will say, no, we don't want to, let's reject it. You reject it, you understand? When you reject innovation, you destroy the destiny of a great nation. Maybe for example, someone wants to build a university in your village, in your local community, or someone wants to, maybe it's an intertribal marriage, or maybe something else, and you reject it. You've actually rejected innovation, and in the process, you are messing up the destiny of the nation without knowing it. Number 10, rejection of revelations from true prophets. Listen, there are fake prophets, and fake prophets have their fake revelations. But when you hear the revelation of a true prophet and you reject it, say, what's this one the talk, self? I beg, make we hear what Jerry. I mean, when you reject the revelations of a true prophet, what happens? You participate in the destruction of the destiny of your nation. Bob Marley said, how long shall they kill our prophet? I will stand aside and look. If you want to save your nation, don't just stand aside and watch when your prophets are being persecuted. Okay? Number 11, 20 things that destroys the destiny of great nations. Rejection of wise counsel. Praise the Lord. A wise man who can see several things ahead, some things ahead of us, and say, look, this particular thing, if we don't do like this, if we don't do like this, in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, we are going to be having so and so problem in the country. The present crisis in Nigeria, are you listening? I'm using Nigeria as an example because Nigeria is a country where I'm resident. The present crisis in Nigeria, some people foresaw it several years ago, and they said, look, let us try to avoid this. Let's try to avoid that so that we won't have so and so problem in the country. Look at Boko Haram, for example. What started Boko Haram? What started Boko Haram? Many people see the Boko Haram extremism in the northeast, and you don't remember what started it. Boko Haram extremism started during the Yaradua regime. And what caused the Boko Haram extremism? An extrajudicial killing by the police. That was all. They arrested somebody. Someone was arrested. Mohammed Yusuf was arrested. This is a little bit of history for you to know what is the cause of Boko Haram extremism in Nigeria. Mohammed Yusuf was arrested by the police, and while they were taking him to custody, they were asking him questions. And before he could say a word or two, one of the policemen shot him. That was an extrajudicial murder. That extrajudicial murder caused the Boko Haram insurgency to take another level of to metamorphose into what it is today. So, rejection of wise counsel. There are people that counseled against these things. Do so and so things in the northeast. Do so and so things in the north. Do this particular thing in the south, and do these particular things in the communities, in the states, in the regions, and we are not going to have so and so problem. Rejection of wise counsel causes what? The destruction of the good destiny of a great nation. Number 12, hatred for heterogeneous personalities. You only like people who are from your tribe. Anyone that is not from your tribe, you hate them. You reject them. In fact, you ostracize them. You just completely reject anyone that is not from your tribe, which is tribalism or ethnic bias. That destroys the destiny of a great nation. You are like, okay, if you come from this particular part of the country, we can't even let you become a president. It is part of, what if the person who is from that part of the nation is actually the bearer of the solution to all the problems of the country? You reject the person, you destroy the destiny of a great nation. So, number 13, injustice and lawlessness. When the common man is having issues, there is no justice for him. Amen. There is no justice for the common man. That's one of the reasons why the High Court in Lagos Island was set ablaze and destroyed by NSAS protesters. They went to the High Court in Lagos and they destroyed everywhere, burned vehicles, scattered everything. Why? Because the High Court does not deliver justice to the common man. So never take for granted the damage that injustice does. Amen. And lawlessness. Injustice and lawlessness is something that is common among the aristocratic. They feel like, what does the person think? They can commit a crime and get away with it because they are aristocrats. Don't take for granted what the people can do one day. Amen. So that is just a harvest of the injustice. I don't support violence. I don't support evil. But when people get angry, they are capable of anything. It has happened in several nations. It happened in France. It happened in England. It can happen anywhere. So don't take people for granted, okay? So number 14, 20 things that can destroy the good destiny of great nations. Inadequate proactivity. What in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, what do we expect? How do we prepare for the economy, for the education, for agriculture, for financial stability, for economic stability, for national development? What are our preparations in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years, in the next 50 years, in the next 100 years? What do we do? In the land of Egypt, there was a famine coming, and through the advice of Joseph, they prepared ahead of time for the famine, such that when there was a global crisis, there was no famine in the land of Egypt. You understand? Preparation. That's number 14. Number 15. Idleness and laziness. This is common among people. Okay. What is idleness? Idleness and laziness is not being able to make good use of the mind and not being able to be productive and proactive. Always waiting for people to give you handouts. Always waiting for the government to do something for you. Always waiting for the people in positions of power to share money for you, to share this for you and share that for you. Yes, this is the truth. Many people will not like this. Idleness and laziness. Now, I'm not saying that many of you are idle or lazy, but there are indeed people who are idle and who are lazy. So if you want to be successful, be hardworking, okay? Donald Trump, the former president of US, says the harder you work, the luckier you get. I've never seen someone who became lucky by not being hardworking. You have to work hard, and one day, preparation will meet opportunity and you become successful. Number 16, Following bad examples. When you follow bad examples, what happens? A group of people can decide to follow a bad example. A group of individuals or communities can decide to follow bad examples. And what happens? It destroys the destiny of a nation. Number 17. Alright, I have a video to this one. Okay, you can check my collection of videos on YouTube. Our collection of videos on YouTube. And also watch this. Failure to learn from history. Failure to learn from history. When you fail to learn from history, history will repeat itself. Okay? So the history of your country, the history of my country, the history of our countries are there for you to study and watch for the repetitive patterns of history and learn how to prevent historic catastrophe. Whether history is kind to you or history is not kind to you, the best way to manage history is to learn from history. Alright, number 18. Neglect or abuse of the poor, the less privileged, and the vulnerable in the society. There's this particular thing. I notice the police, they usually pick on most commercial drivers and tricycle drivers and bike riders. They don't stop these jeeps and big cars and so on to check what is really going on. But they stop these commercial vehicles and they extort money from them and do this and do that. These things are part of the abuse of the poor, less privileged and vulnerable and the struggling in the society. Okay, another way to check the future of a society is how that society treats its women and children. How do you treat women and children? That is also an indicator of the future of your society. If women are not treated with dignity in the society and children are not well taken care of, the future of the society is already in peril. Okay, and the poor, the have-nots of the society. If a have-not has a problem, does that person get justice? Neglect or abuse of the poor, less privileged and vulnerable in society. Maybe a poor person has an issue, and the person he has an issue with is on the other end of the scale, and people decide to ignore the issue. That is, it destroys the destiny of a nation. All right, number 19. An anti-people or oppressive constitution. The constitution is against the people. These dictations and stipulations of the constitution is against the people. A politician is doing whatever he likes in the office and he cannot get arrested. He cannot get locked up. But he's doing whatever he likes in the office. That is because of the stipulations of the constitution. If politicians can get locked up, arrested, and jailed while they're in office, they will most likely behave themselves. So when the constitution is anti-people, A-N-T-I, people, is against the people, all right, the destiny of that country is already ruined, because the people cannot express themselves. The country is controlled by the people, not even by those in leadership. The governors, the senators, and the presidents, they are all products of the people. People are the leaders of the country before you select those in leadership and president. So when the constitution is against the people, that is it. Forget about it. The people can choose someone to become their leader. When the person gets into leadership position, the person turns into a monster in that leadership position, because the constitution does not favor the people. The constitution favors the person who gets into power. So you should look at the constitution and make amendments so that it will favor the people, and so that the right people who want to do the right things will be the ones who can become leaders in the country. Okay, lack of individual patriotism or commitment to nation building. You find out that during a little protest, you are destroying public infrastructures. That itself is a problem. Maybe there's a protest, you are burning tire on the expressway. You know how much it costs the government to make that expressway so that you can drive safely to work every Monday to Friday. That is part of the problem of the nation. Lack of individual patriotism. The pledge. It says, I pledge to Jehovah my God to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Jehovah with all my strength, to defend the gospel, and uphold his honor and glory. So help me Jehovah. That is a pledge. So make up your mind that you will do something for your country, and you will not wait for your country to do something for you. Individual patriotism leads to the improvement of the destiny of a nation. You don't wait for your country to do things for you. Do things for your country. Amen. Even if you are not recognized, even if people don't clap for you, just continue to do things for because it speaks well of you. It's not a must people will celebrate you when you are doing good, but just do good things for the sake of doing them. Okay. All right. I have 2 jara. Okay. In our country, it is called jara. I said 20 things that destroys the destiny of a nation, but I want to give you jara 2. Fisi, jara, extra. Number 21. Inconsistency. Okay, let me pronounce it well. Inconsistency in following up the plans and projects of leaders. Maybe the former person in leadership was a member of the opposition party, and then a new party comes into power and topples of the previous the previous party, the predecessor, and there are some important projects that will help the people grow and develop. Well, because it's a new party, the person that comes into power begins to cancel some of these projects. But when you check these projects by your predecessor, who is a member of the opposing party, you find out that these projects will lead to the development of the country. It will lead to the development of the people. But you decide to cancel these projects. That also destroys the destiny of nations. So inconsistency and failure to follow the plans of project. Maybe the man was building a particular expressway, but because he's part of the opposition party, when you get into the seat of power, you cancel the contract, you cancel the project, and people begin to suffer on that road. For example, the East-West Road. I don't know whether they are still building the East-West Road in Nigeria and so on and so forth. These are what inconsistent. Look at Lagos-Badagry Expressway. Another project. So things like this. Now, it's not only the roads, but also other important projects. Maybe health project, maybe education project, maybe economic projects. But because it's the opposition party, you decide to cancel it. That leads to the destruction of a nation. It does not help the development of a nation. It destroys the destiny of a nation. So even if it's your opposition that was in the power before, and you see the project and you see that the project is good, go on with the project, not because of anything, but just because of the people. All right. Number 22, which is jara extra. Lack of autonomy. You want to do something for your country, you cannot find resources inside your country. One of the reasons why I want to commend Tinubu, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is that one of the first things he did when he came into power, when he became a governor in Lagos, was to develop autonomy within Lagos, such that within Lagos, the revenue needed to develop Lagos could be found within Lagos, which means Lagos State no longer depended on the federal government's allocation to do the things they used to do. So as a result of that, there was a fast pace of development within the city of Lagos. So lack of autonomy. You want to do something for the people, you are going to China to borrow money. You want to do something for people, you are going to Dubai to borrow money. You want to do something for the people, you are going to Turkey to borrow money. You are going to America to borrow money. You are going to the IMF to borrow money. And at the end of the day, the nation is in debt, and the people are in threat of being colonized. Look at what happened to Zambia. Look at what has happened to Zambia. It's a very serious problem. Why is it that African countries are always on the receiving end of colonization? Can't an African country be a colonial power? You understand? Can't an African country become a colonial power? Why must African countries always be on the receiving end of colonialism? So it's due to lack of autonomy. You don't look within yourself to find out what you can churn out as resources to take care of problems in the country. That can destroy the destiny of a great nation. It has happened to a country like Zambia. And I hope that every African country, including Nigeria and other West African countries, have learned from this, and we hope that this does not happen to other African countries. So let us be autonomous. Let's stop relying on handouts from USAID, DFID, this one, that one, and at the end of the day, they are colonizing you. Let us be autonomous. Let us even export something to the world. Let us give to other parts of the world. Let us have African inventions, African intelligence. African intelligence is even superior to artificial intelligence. Understand? So these are the 20 things that can destroy the good destiny of a great nation. I'm yours sincerely, Apostle Cosmas Friday, and I believe this message is going to be transformative. Share it with your friends. All right, if you are a non-African and you're watching, God bless you. We love you. We don't mean any harm. Okay, we are just talking about issues that concern us. If you're an African and you're watching, I hope you understand what I said. God bless you. Take care.